Well done, Dad, it all went okay, but I've told you, I've seen the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I said, go on, fire away. And he says, you sat there, Gary's dad down, didn't you? I said, yeah, we did. He said, and this other old soldier come over to him and he prodded his shoulder with a walking stick. Now, because of what we're doing, I'll clean this up and you can read into this whatever you wish. As he poked him with a walking stick, he said, how are you doing, you old bath plug? And they started to laugh and they started to chat. And I said, what that would be, Kate, is they'd see each other's beret and it's called banter. And they're taking the mickey out of each other. The service started, it was great. At which point I said goodbye to my daughter, went in, we toasted the Queen. I came away from the stage. As I came away from the stage, Gary's dad sitting with his back to the room, stops me, he says, that's the one I want to see. Stop that man, I need to talk to him. So I stopped, I says, what can I do for you, sir? He said, I just want to tell you, you've made my day. And I said, well, all I'll say then is if I've made your day, you've made my day. And he said, shall I tell you why you've made my day? And I said, please do. And at which point he started to cry. And he cried like a baby. This is why I found it emotional. Once he composed himself, his son says to him, he says, Dad, what on earth's the matter? He says, let me tell you why I found it so emotional and why you made my day. You sat an old soldier by me, didn't you? I said, we thought you'd like it. Yeah. He says, more than you'll ever know. And we said, well, why was that? He said, I haven't seen him since we joined up together. And it was back in the days when you did all your basic training together. And he went to explain it. He said, we all did our basic training. He says, then he went off and joined the Staffordshire Regiment. He says, and I went off and I joined the Cheshire Regiment. Then we've got a further twist in the tale. And I said, you were in the Cheshire Regiment? He said, yeah. Now, this man come from Wednesbury to come to this dedication service of our memorial. And I said, the first name on our war memorial is Corporal David Arthur Smith, who was murdered by the IRA, was serving with the Cheshire Regiment. He said, yeah, I know, I was on duty the day I heard it on the radio. The officer said to me, he said, what's in it for you? And I tell him that story, and I say just that.
That is such...
It's a powerful story.
That's such a powerful story.